So guys, this is Major Gonzalez, our famous NASA guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Blake.
I'm James.
Nice to meet you, boys.
So guys, Major Gonzalez has come here to give you the opportunity to interview him and to find out about his life as an astronaut. So go easy on him. He's been a little bit jet-lagged, 15 hours flight. Okay guys, I'll leave you to it. I'll be just at the back. Call me or fetch you from the back.
What's that for?
In case you smart boys ask me something that I don't have the answer to. So what do you want to know?
So, okay, let's see. Let's start with your childhood. What about your early life and where are you from?
Well, it's like any other military guy's life. I was born in Petersburg, Virginia, but spent most of my early life outside the US because my father was a diplomat. Anyways, I got good grades and got accepted into the Air Force Academy where I passed with full honors, and then joined the Air Force, did a few missions, became an instructor, and then NASA came calling and I joined, went through some training.
So, what kind of training did you have to do?
Well, it wasn't any Boy Scout kind of training. The first phase was in the classroom, and we had to learn stuff like engineering, space science, and so on. And then the second phase was on military training, land, water. We had to find out if we did land roughly on Earth, back on Earth, how would we manage that? And there was swimming training. We had to be scuba certified because we had to tread water for 10 minutes in a spacesuit. We had to do lengths in a spacesuit. It was quite tough.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yes, and that's the basic training. The second step, they put astronauts together that have a lot of experience with the training astronauts to share knowledge and experience, and also to make them confident in pre-launch, launch, audit, landing, and all that stuff.
So this is for experience, that's it?
Yes, it is, but it's also part of the training that takes place on the side, which is technical training, physical training, that constantly goes on. And one of the things now which happens is the advanced mission stage, where you're given a particular job, and in that job you're trained for the next 6 months. Some of the jobs could be, if you were on the Endeavour, you'd be learning how to use the Hubble telescope, things like that.
What does your family think about you being an astronaut?
Which family? My wife has known me since I was a fighter pilot, and she's used to it. And my son thinks it's the coolest job in the world.
Okay, what about your parents, brothers and sisters?
Let's just say my mother thinks I'm going to die each time I get onto a plane. I'm sure I've shaved off a lot of years of her life since I joined the Air Force. But my father, that's a whole different ballgame. His happiest moment was when I got my wings. And he's a proud father because his son is an astronaut.
And your brothers and sisters?
My brother died in the first Gulf War about 20 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's the reason I joined the military. My dad wanted another son to be fighting for his country. My mother couldn't take it though.
So could you tell us what do you love about being a space traveler and why you chose it?
It's simple for me really. My childhood interest was science, especially physics. And when I got my first solar system, my dad pointed at the moon and said, "Son, this is where you're going to be later." I couldn't get that thought out of my head, and I've been passionate about planes and space throughout. At the age of 7, I learned all the planets in the solar system and the space timeline as well. I remember following the earlier Apollo missions, and I was fascinated. Alan Shepard teeing off on the moon just blew my mind. Then every Saturday I'd watch all the planes land at the airport and look through my telescope for anything I could find that night, the moon, the stars, whatever it was. And you know, the thing that really got me was seeing beyond the Earth, searching for new life forms, seeing how things work, all that God created, the universe. I was fascinated. I just wanted to experience it. And the first time I went up there, it was just like I was home.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, seeing all the planets and the galaxy and everything. But all these things about the secret of the universe seems crazy.
It's scary at first, but I feel, and I'm sure most astronauts would feel the same way, that it's the most incredible and exciting sight one can see. Nothing even in a dream can come close. Not even Inception.
Inception. That's a good movie. So for the next question, what about procedures before you go up into space, like pre-launch checks and everything?
Listen, kid, we go by saying, You can never check enough. We've got millions of pre-launch checkups, from the color on the flag to the main engines to everything that can be checked. Hundreds of NASA personnel are checking on everything that can be checked and rechecked. The NASA personnel then report to the NTD, which is the NASA test director, who then reports to the launch director, who then decides if the ship is going to launch or not. It's a lengthy procedure, but it's got to be done. It's like a plane, but a little more complicated. If one piece doesn't fit or doesn't operate the way it's meant to be, the whole ship could blow sky high. So we don't mind them taking as long as they want.
Okay, wow. But with all the chaos of the pre-launch stuff, how are the nerves of the astronauts?
Well, no matter how many times you go up, it's always this case of excitement of extreme flight and so on, but whether you're going to urinate in your spacesuit or not, and trust me, that's not a comfortable feeling. Usually the captain and one or two of the senior guys throw some jokes around, but most everyone's very focused and in touch with the mission control.
Okay, so going back to the astronauts' mindset before launch, are they allowed to speak to their families, like whilst in the ship?
This is an Armageddon, kid. They're not going up there to die. Unfortunately, there is a high chance of that happening, but, and again, nobody unauthorized is going to be allowed into the NASA mission control room.
It's sort of unfair. Like you said, they have a high chance of dying. It should be allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is not a normal office job, and NASA's got a million rules to follow just to make sure that nothing unnecessary happens. You've got to be highly authorized to be in the NASA mission control room in any case, and the crew has to be fully focused, and that mindset cannot change. Imagine seeing your newborn in the mission control room. That is unacceptable.
But still.
Okay, guys, let's move on. Huh?
Yes, okay. So, sir, I mean, Major, how many missions have you done?
I've done 2 missions so far. An Atlantis mission, STS-112, and we launched on...
October 7, 2002. Sorry, continue.
It was 7th of October, yes. And it was an 11-day mission to the ISS, and we were supposed to deliver the starboard 1 truss segments for the structural support that they provide for the ISS radiators. And the other one was an Endeavour mission, STS-123, and that was launched on... Sir, would you like to fill in?
March 11, 2008.
Thank you. And it was a 15-day mission to ISS. The mission was to deliver the first segment of the Japanese Kibo model segment to the ISS. And it was a 7-man crew, and we also delivered the Canadian Space Agency's special purpose dexterous manipulator.
That's pretty cool.
So was ISS quite primitive then? Like, how was the safety?
Well, obviously it was safe, otherwise they wouldn't let us on. Despite the disaster of Columbia in 2003, there have been many missions to develop and enhance the ISS.
But why the long gap between the 2 missions? Was it down to health or something like that?
Good question. No, it was mainly because of the disaster and the suspension of flights till 2005.
So did you know the crew quite well?
Yes, of course. I trained with most of them. Didn't know all of them really well, but the loss was deeply felt.
Didn't this disaster make you scared for another mission?
Yes, it always did. But these things are in the back of your mind all the time, even when I was flying jets. I've lost friends even in training sessions. It's always something in the back of your mind, but you learn to live with it and do the best you can. And I guess we've just got to focus on the bigger picture of pushing human boundary.
So, are there any future missions planned?
Yes, there is one in a couple of years that I'll be involved in.
Great. Could you tell us what it is?
If I tell you, I've got to kill you. No, but I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to discuss this. Sorry.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, guys. Great questions. I think it's time for a break. I will give you the opportunity to have some refreshments, stretch your legs.
Sir, can I just ask one more question before we go?
I think it's better if we leave it for later.
That's okay, let him go.
I may have asked this before, but how do you forget about the fact of dying?
You don't really forget it, you just focus on the mission.
But doesn't it ever freak you out that you can get stranded up there with no hope? With just one small thing going wrong, you could just die up there and nobody would be able to do anything about it.
Well, on the ground, those things do come into your mind, but when you're up there, you're just too busy to focus on anything else. And sometimes fear works for you because it minimizes risks and makes you work harder.
So, fear of dying can be a positive thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, my father said death is the beginning of a new journey.
Well, that's an interesting perspective.
Okay, halas guys, enough. Let's go out for a break. Mr. Gonzalez will be available later on as well, right? And we can continue later. Let's go. Sorry, I thought it better to cut it at this moment and to have a break. His father passed away some time back, and I thought you will want to know so the interview doesn't become too morbid.
I'm sorry to hear that. How did it happen?
Cancer, I think. It happened terribly fast. 3 months, I think, he passed away. It was a very late diagnosis.
Well, his comment about death being a beginning of a new journey was quite upbeat, I thought. My uncle said that when my brother died, but I guess I was too young to appreciate it.
Major, how's it going? Over. We're just finishing off over here. Over. Your spacewalk's been 2 hours 35 minutes long. Over. All right, read you loud and clear. We're coming in. Whoa, what was that? Oh my God, my oxygen levels are going down. The tether's breaking off. Oh geez, we're losing you. Switch to your oxygen reserve. The tether's broken. I repeat. Major. Major. Houston, we've lost him. I repeat, we've lost him.
We're just getting in some more breaking news from NASA. NASA can now confirm the stranded astronaut is Major Federico Gonzalez. They can also confirm the other astronaut on the spacewalk, Major Thomas Bloomfield, is safe. There was no problem with his tether, and he is now aboard the ISS. Just to take you back,
James,
Major
isn't that the
Gonzalez and
astronaut
Major
you interviewed at
Bloomfield
school?
were out on a spacewalk.
Oh yeah, it is.
NASA has not revealed exactly
That
what
must
they
be
were
a
doing,
terrible
but it
way
seems
to
be
die.
some sort of
I hope they
routine
save him.
They
Yeah.
were finishing off and making their way back aboard the station.
Don't
when Major
worry.
Gonzalez's tether broke
Remember
off.
what Dad used to say.
Again, NASA is still investigating with the ISS.
Thanks, kid.
To Soyuz and docking. Over. Roger that, NA-1SS. Surgeon status reporter, Gonzalez. Copy that, Capcom. Data's incomplete, but we estimate oxygen levels at that in 90 seconds. Roger that, Surgeon. Godspeed, we go.